We're now with Frankie Corrado and Marty Biron. And guys, there have been some jaw-dropping signings lately. Some because of how big the total was, and another for how big the discount was. So Lane Hutson, he's eligible to sign an extension with the Habs. And Frankie, what is his worth to Montreal?
He's so important to that team, and if you look at how their cap is structured now, they have a lot of players, Nick Suzuki, Cole Caulfield, Juraj Slafkovsky, all on very reasonable deals, but now Noah Dobson comes into the fold at $9.5 million, and I can't possibly justify how Lane Hutson should take 1 penny less than Noah Dobson, because Lane Hutson changes the complexity of the team more than Noah Dobson does. If you take Lane Hutson off the Montreal Canadiens, they're a much worse team. You're adding Noah Dobson at this point, and that's great. He's going to raise the skill ceiling for that back end. He's going to give them more opportunity to be a better team. But with no Lane Hutson, it's a very different looking Montreal Canadiens team. So he's extremely valuable to them. He's probably the second most valuable player outside of Nick Suzuki, who is their MVP, and everything has to go through him. Lane Hutson is second. Now, you can't compare the Suzuki deal because that's a very team favorable deal, but you can use the Noah Dobson deal. And Lane Hutson should not get a penny less than Noah Dobson.
Well, Frankie, I'm going to go a step further. I'm going to compare Lane Hutson with the highest cap hits when it comes to defensemen this year in the National Hockey League. Erik Karlsson's 11.5. You got Rasmus Dahlin, obviously that's 11. You got Evan Bouchard, who's 10.5. So you're Drew Doughty, 11. So for me, it's got to be between 10.5 and 11.5. I don't think you can say to Lane Hutson, you're going to be the highest AAV when it comes to a defenseman. But we saw Luke Hughes and Jackson Lacombe get $9 million, and they've not even come close to what Lane Hutson's value is to the league and to the Montreal Canadiens. So I'm thinking 10.5 is the minimum, and it's probably in that $1 million range, 10.5 to $11.5 million when you're looking at Lane Hutson. You're going to get fantastic years. Offense, puck control, skating, and everything for the Montreal Canadiens. So I think you got to pay the guy, and that's going to cost you that much.
Okay, so with this cap hit going up, there's money on the table, and if we assume McDavid's discount is an outlier, guys, it seems like contracts are only going up. Frankie, did the Habs make a mistake not wrapping up this negotiation with Hudson sooner?
You know what, Sarah? It's hard to say that they made a mistake by not wrapping it up sooner because ultimately it takes both sides to get there. And based on what we've seen from this current regime in Montreal, they've been willing to get these guys under extensions fairly early. Like they gave Juraj Slafkovsky a favorable extension early. Now, that extension should look good on the team because he should outperform that, but they were willing to go to the table and negotiate these deals and say, we believe in you guys, we've seen enough of a sample size that we know that you're going to be good contributors to our team for a long period of time, and so we're going to get you on 7-8 year deals. So it's hard to say that at this point it's a mistake, but it is going to cost them more. And the reason why it's going to cost them more, for me anyways, is because you can compare outside the organization and take player A, B, and C and try and use those comps, and they're fine. And like Marty said, like there's going to be some players that you can compare Lane Hutson to outside of the organization, but within their team, bringing in Noah Dobson and saying we're going to attach a long-term ticket at $9.5 million, that's the floor for what you need to pay Lane Hutson now. You have to go above that no matter what. So it wasn't a mistake, but they set the floor by bringing in Noah Dobson.
And also, it's not a mistake because on July 1 this past summer, there were so many players that were eligible for extensions, and there's very few that have signed those extensions. Teams most likely wanted to get that done, but I do believe that the agents and the player side of things are seeing the cap go up. They're seeing like some of the big contracts that are being signed, and all of a sudden, when you thought, oh, maybe that's an $8 million AAV figure, it's $10 million. Like that is how the marketplace has shifted over the summer from June and July to now September, October. And it's going to continue to fluctuate throughout the season because we don't really know just yet what's the sweet spot. So when you look at Lane Hutson, obviously the Canadiens wanted to get it wrapped up. But for him, it's like, let's just wait and see where we are. And obviously he's gaining money by the minute here as we approach the season.
Yeah, he's got some time on his hands, and it is a fun time to be a Habs fan with all this emerging young talent. Hudson, coming off his Calder Trophy winning campaign, and then his teammate, Ivan Demidov, is the favorite to win it this year.